Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into the Penny Bloom Podcast. It is I, Colton Robertson, and you are here for the Mandalorian rewatch. That is Star Wars: The Mandalorian: The Watchmen. It's my favorite. It's my favorite thing to do lately, you know. And I'm joined by my good friend Joseph George. Hello, buddy.
Hello. How's it going?
Oh, I am very good. It's so glad to see you. So glad to see you. We've also got Miles Buttress. How you doing, bud?
Doing well. How are you?
I am great. And for the first time, it is great actually seeing you while we do the podcast as well. We've slowly all gotten cameras. It's been nice. I dig it. And on the screen below me that I can see and you cannot, we've got Kyler Barnett. How you doing, bud?
I'm fantastic.
Fantastic. I'm feeling fantastic, and it's because this last episode of The Mandalorian was fucking phenomenal.
Awesome.
So good.
Eventful.
Great.
Quick.
Dude, so quick. Joseph, how'd you feel about it?
I loved it. Honestly, there are so many things happening that I didn't even really realize that it was so, short compared to the other episodes. I kind of, whenever I was getting out of that episode, I'm like, dang, like it was actually that short.
Yeah, it's like already over. Damn. All right.
But I think it was everything an episode needed, just in a quicker time, if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely. It was like, I watched this and I went, oh yeah, that's why people were disappointed by the last episode.
Yeah, it definitely does reflect poorly upon Chapter 10.
But that's the thing, though, is that, like, it's a different thing. They weren't going for the same thing.
Right.
It's, but this is what people expect of The Mandalorian every time, is this sort of thing. And I love it. I love it, obviously. It's just a different kind of episode, Miles, how'd you feel about it?
Well, I mean, I feel like there definitely weren't nearly as many points in this episode where I just sat there and adored how, cute Baby Yoda was.
Oh, you're barely in it. I appreciated that. They knew they were going to have an episode where there was not Baby Yoda, so they gave us an episode that was all Baby Yoda,
Yeah, no, I thought it was a great episode. I kind of agree with what you said, is that it felt very different from the previous episode, and
it felt more season one. It really did. That's what it felt different than these first two episodes, mainly because I guess we still had a massive monster. They made sure to add one in there, but it wasn't the main villain, It wasn't the main antagonist.
You could say that the main antagonist was also a monster, but
Oh, no doubt a monster, but not a living beast.
Honestly, the first two episodes were basically fan service, and then they were like, all right, let's get serious now on episode 3.
A little bit for sure. I mean, going to Tatooine, fighting a crate dragon with a bunch of sand people.
Baby Yoda popping eggs, bro.
Boba Fett's armor making an appearance. Like, no doubt they were like, this is everything Star Wars fans have wanted, okay? We're doing everything short of including lightsabers right now.
Yeah.
So enjoy, and then we'll escalate this shit, okay? We'll escalate it like crazy. And this episode, I say we get that escalation.
Well, and I also think that, like, the going to Tatooine and all that stuff, I feel like that's like probably the one place in the Star Wars universe where there is a Mandalorian that's just has clearly been out and about just doing things, flaunting the fact that he has Mandalorian armor.
Yeah.
They had to they couldn't just be like, all right, so this random character that no one's ever seen before.
Yeah, no doubt.
He just decided to go to this water planet.
Yeah, I mean, fuck it.
Yeah.
We're going to talk Season 2, Chapter 11, The Heiress, directed by Bryce Dallas Howard, written by Jon Favreau. So, last season, Bryce Dallas Howard also directed an episode. it was Chapter 4, Sanctuary. And this episode, I had a thought while taking the notes, and that was, wow, I really feel like I need to write down everything they're saying. Every single line is important. I had this exact thought, and I telegraphed the last time I had that thought. And you know when it was? Season 1, Chapter 4, when I was watching Sanctuary. So I think Bryce Dallas Howard has a real way of connecting the audience to her dialogue, because I had to write down everything Bo-Katan was saying. I had to write down everything Din was saying. You know, I just felt like everything was very important. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't really realize that. You know, I don't really think of directors. Or,
she definitely goes for like the real deep, like memorable ones. You know, like she's really going for it.
Yeah, she's a great director. I mean, and this episode just proves it. So let's hop into the scene by scene breakdown. What do you say?
Let's do it.
So we open on the Razor Crest, limping past a massive planet. I assume that's the Kolib and gas giant they were talking about, on their way to the moon of Trask. And Baby, Frog Lady, and Din are all fast asleep when Din is woken up by an alarm, alerting him to the fact that, you know, we're here, we're at Trask. And they all shake awake, and Din realizes that the landing array isn't working, which is going to be a problem upon re-entry, as it will all have to be manual. And also, they're almost out of fuel, so we have just enough fuel to land, like just the very end. We'll be able to slow down enough to land, and that's only if we don't burn to a crisp beforehand. So, ship's in real bad shape. just absolutely devastated. The crest enters the gravity field of the moon and just plummets, falls quickly. The underbelly catches fire, and Din calls to the Frog Lady for help, saying he needs her hands. And she sets her eggs down, and you can tell it's really tense as to whether they're going to fall over and spill and stuff. And that's definitely what I was worried about. But, you know, you see Baby eye them one more time, like, man, look at them all alone. This might be our last chance. I just thought that was funny. And they on the planet's surface, we see a Mon Calamari watching the free-falling crest, and Trask ground control reaches out to Din, asking him to reduce his speed. And he's like, dude, why would I not be trying to do that at the moment? Like, obviously I'm trying to reduce speed. I'm trying my best here.
I mean, this is just like peak family road trip, just like chaos right now. Like, you know, that's just the vibes I get. Like, everybody's just angry, on edge, like shit's falling apart. Like, just.
And Din's just everybody. I'm trying my best here,
like,
okay?
The fucking last straw, just the last.
Mando was talking to Frog Lady. Keep in mind, she's pregnant, or I don't know.
Sure, at least ovulating.
Yeah, sure. And, like, he's talking to that Frog Lady like that, like, well, we're either going to land, it's going to be hard, or we're going to burn up and die. Like, well, okay, thanks for giving me comfort in this situation. I don't know, I just thought that was kind of like, well, dang, dude. Like,
I mean, it's not like we've ever not known him to not just be completely blunt about the situation.
Oh, yeah, I was
I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
He's proven time and again he does not know how to read a room. But they fast approach this landing platform with the ground control in his ear, just like, yo, slow the fuck down. And he's like, no, shut up. And he hits the button. I'm like, thank God. Just, you need a little bit of peace here. Get as much focus as you can on this goddamn landing. And they slow up into the landing, and the crest looks like it's going to be fine. He's setting her down nice and easy, and then pop. The engine blows. They tip over into the water. Yeah, and we cut to the title screen.
The title card had such perfect comedic timing. It just like made me laugh.
Dude, it was perfect because that's an art, man. That cutaway right there, you got to know when to do that. And they pulled it off perfectly. And after the title card, we see them getting lifted out of the water by some altered Imperial Walker tech, which was pretty fucking badass, super cool. Vehicle sort of thing, and immediately this planet for some reason just gave me big Corellia vibes from the beginning of Solo.
Yeah,
it's like especially when I saw that big ass crane thing, I was like, just the sort of mechanics here. But then eventually, you know, we see all the water and shit. It's a little different. But they emerge from the ship. Mando approaches the Mon Cal and asks him if he can fix it up, and the Mon Cal's like, I don't think anybody can fix it up, but I'll try and get her to fly again, bro. Maybe I'll give her some fuel if she holds it, you know. And this shit's just in terrible, terrible fucking shape. And Frog Lady heads over to the docks in search of Frogman, and she calls out to no avail at first. You know, she keeps waddling along. But then, in the distance, you hear it. It's Frogman, that beautiful bastard. They run toward each other and engage in a loving embrace, happy to be reunited with the chance to continue their kind. Just the perfect cap to this love story. I loved it.
Like an
I didn't realize how much I cared about Frog Lady. I was super happy to see her reunited with Frogman.
My immediate fear was when they reunited that just the most worst possible thing was getting ready to happen in this episode, and I just really freaked myself out for it. I'm not sure if I'm just so like on edge 100% of the time that I just assume, but I don't know.
The Mandalorian, I found, carries just a pit in my stomach the first time I watch it. I'm just like always nervous something bad is going to happen. You know?
Yeah.
Right here, I'm thinking Frogman is going to realize Baby Yoda ate some of the eggs.
Frogman's going to realize half of his kids are missing.
Like, that's what I was thinking. I was worried that like this guy was going to be like, yo, where's the rest of the eggs? And then
this is pretty irresponsible parenting, in all honesty. I mean, that is just no feel, like, at all. You didn't do a count. You don't do a roll call like,
when you laid the eggs.
Like, no roll call or anything.
I don't know, man.
Come on now.
I only had one thought going through my brain for like half the episode. I'm like,
what?
How does this dude like, you know, fertilize those eggs?
Hey,
so like,
man, come on
he just
now.
kind of
let
into the thing, or
we don't need any entry.
Nah, man. I think if you want to know how frogs get down,
okay.
If you want to know how frogs get down, you can Google it. This ain't.
Oh, these aren't just frogs, Colton. These are frog people.
That's true.
No, my thought this entire time is, how does Baby Yoda find a way to get after another one of those eggs while they are standing there embracing? How does he get one?
He developed like this sort of kinship to it. I think he's going to stop eating small things.
Yeah, I think seeing what happened and like stuff, his kind of perspective changed. I feel like he like wants to save it now. That'll be like a thing.
That'd be cute.
I think Baby Yoda will stop eating, you know, the next generation of a species. Maybe I don't think he's going to stop eating small things.
You're probably right. You're probably right.
Okay,
probably no more eggs for Baby.
Yeah. I'm gonna backtrack for just a second, just because I didn't get the chance to get my thought out when I was thinking about it. But, is the Razor Crest the worst treated ship since like, I don't even know. Is it the worst treated ship?
It's by far the worst treated ship in Star
maybe
Wars,
Luke's X-Wing in Dagobah, but like I can't think of anything else.
I don't know.
It's not even that bad.
The Millennium Falcon gets like ripped to shreds every single.
I don't think to that.
I mean, in The Rise of
damage,
Skywalker, it catches on fire.
Yeah.
That is true.
I googled it, by the way, and
Obi-Wan's
was
little ship in Revenge of the Sith. I think beat up.
Ships do get beat up throughout Star Wars, but this certainly seems like
just
the worst.
excessive. Like it seems like he's had enough. Like,
bro, this season it's just got worse. It has not been fixed up once. It's
stop the count.
Getting beat
Stop
the
the
fuck
count.
Also, like, where is he getting the money to continuously repair this thing?
Bro,
killing people, man.
Well, but like
that man's loaded.
At the beginning of the first season, he made it seem like whenever he was trying to pick between like bounties, he was like, "This bounty doesn't even pay for the gas." Like he made it seem like they weren't like just raking in dough collecting bounties.
I guess
that
might have been that might have been him saying like it's not worth my time.
Yeah.
Well, he did become the richest man in the parsec when he recovered Baby Yoda.
But all of that was
trade you this baby to fix my ship.
But wasn't that all in like the metal for his armor, and all that got used to make more armor?
Yeah, that's
so. It's not like he's just selling it off to fund his ship destruction.
Fuck it, man. You know
he's doing some work on the side. You know we don't.
Yeah, he paid this man 1,000 credits for this. Like this man still got money.
Yeah. And that's true. He just handed it to a random person to like fix it. Here you go.
Yeah, but you know the frogs. They reunite here and they look at the eggs and Baby looks at the eggs. Then he looks up at Din and Din's like, "I know. We'll get you something to eat." I was like, man, he's really talking to this kid like he's a straight up baby. Like, it's not even like there's nothing. I know, we'll get you something to eat. Don't you worry.
Aww.
It's just so damn cute. And Frogman approaches Din and thanks, and Din tells him that he's looking for his kind, at which point Frogman points him towards the inn. And here, we see in the distance a mysterious woman in a black coat, and we learn later that this is Casca Reeves. Just a wonderful, wonderful character in addition to the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, I was a big fan. Just a lot of reasons. Big fan.
Related to Keanu Reeves, so automatically good.
I mean, yeah, she's got the capital K at the beginning of her initial, and then Reeves, so K Reeves. She might as well have some relation to Keanu.
It's his wife.
Always praise him.
Always praise Keanu Reeves. But after this, we cut to the end when someone is getting some really disgusting chowder in their bowl, just really fucking nasty. And Frogman greets a Mon Cal on entry of the dining area, and they get seated. Din orders the baby some chowder and says he won't be eating, and the Mon Cal's like, yo, everybody in here got to eat. Ain't nobody getting these seats without eating, bro. And he's like, I can buy information. I was like, that's the corniest shit I've ever heard, Din. Come on. And the Mon Cal accepts, that's a lot of credits here. And he tells him that the others with Beskar have been through here. And he heads over to a group of Quarren at a table. These squid face motherfuckers are called Quarren, by the way. And the Mon Cal tells them the situation. Meanwhile, Baby is holding a spoon and analyzing his food, seeing that it moves with him. He's like, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah.
And then, little squid thingy jumped out of his bowl and onto Baby's face. Baby's just fighting for his fucking life. He's like, fucking. And Din pokes it with his little vibro blade, and he's like, don't play with your food.
Yeah, I was like, dude.
Yo, bro, Baby looks up at him like, yo, I was fighting for my fucking life. He was trying to kill me. Ain't no game.
I was on death row right
Who's
there.
playing, bro?
I was like, dude, come on.
But that is the Star Wars equivalent of playing with your food. It jumping on your face. Like, what? That's insane. That's awesome.
I thought it was really gonna be. I thought Din was really gonna panic about it, and he just like, poop.
Bro, that knife's so close to his face, though, like his little baby face.
But the Quarren makes his way over from his table, and he comes and sits down next to Din. And he says he can bring Mando to others of his kind, but it's going to cost him. And let me tell you, I will never look upon a Quarren face again without being fucking furious.
All right.
I can't even get to the part of the episode without getting fucking angry about it.
There's two theories on this. I mean, they're not big. It's just like, did the bartender or the guy running the place ask them because he knew they were going to try this shit, or like telling them to do it? Or did he tell them like, hey, these guys would actually be good for the job doing it, and then they realized Baby Yoda was on the ship, and then that's when they decided to attack?
They had no interest in Baby Yoda.
No,
they did not know anything about Baby Yoda. They were just willing to kill a kid
for Beskar
in order to get that Beskar.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Also, real question though: at what point does Din realize that he needs to stop just completely trusting these people that he meets randomly?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this surely has to be
the stroke of
Because
luck has got to
literally-
run out, and it sure fucking did.
One starts with him getting betrayed by someone, or season 2 begins with him getting betrayed by someone trying to steal the Beskar and the child, and then this, they're just like, he's like, oh, you want to show me a giant squid monster? Okay.
Yeah, but here we cut out to the high seas, Din and Baby looking at the ocean, passing them by, and the Quarren approaches Din and tells him that they're about to feed a Mama Core, our third of the monsters they're going to introduce to us this season, which is pretty cool. And it's quite the sight to see, so the kid will love it. Come on, let's show him. Bring him on over. It's going to be cool. And as Baby's pod gets a little closer, Din's like, yo, that's close enough. And they open the cage and lower the food in. And the Quarren, lulling Din to sleep, tells him that oftentimes they feed her in the morning, but not today. And he keeps going, and Baby just like looks over the edge, just in awe. And then the guy fucking whacks Baby Yoda's prim into the water and was immediately taken under inside of the Mama Core. And bro, I had never been more scared in my life.
I thought he was dead. For real.
Dude.
Like, oh.
I was like, wait a minute. No.
Dude, I was like instant panic button. I was like, oh my god.
Bro,
Oh my god, what's
but
happening?
the immediacy that he dives in that water.
No questions asked.
He doesn't even decide to kill him first or fucking beat him up. He just fucking goes.
No, he said that baby is inside that giant monster with tentacles and a terrifying mouth. And I am going to jump in there, gonna have to get inside of that thing and grab my child. And I'm gonna get out.
I will let it eat me and then cut my way out if I have to.
The skin on the exterior is much too thick. The inside.
See the noise. So Din jumps in without hesitation, and the squid face just fucking Davy Jones looking head ass shut the cage over him. And they begin poking him with their like long sharp stick thingies, and they're like, "Yeah, kill him, drown him." And the Quarren yells like, "Yes, brothers, we've got the best car. We're rich," and it's like, God, fuck these guys. I hate you so much. Like, I will never forgive this species. They were even on the side of the Separatists during the Clone Wars. They were like, "Yeah, you know what? Those guys are the good guys."
I don't know, man. I'm kind of a believer that, maybe the Jedis were the bad guys, maybe.
I mean, there's something to the idea that the Jedi had gotten too dogmatic, but that's for another time whenever we watch the movies and talk about them together.
But no matter how bad the Jedi were, these assholes are still worse.
Yeah, I mean, they were just terrorizing villages. You saw what happened to Din. The Jedi were never doing that.
True.
But when Din looks like he's absolutely done for, clinging up to the top of this cage just for his life, in efforts not to drown, we see a Mandalorian flying from above. And for those who recognize the mask immediately, the excitement is real, because this is Bo-Katan. And I was just like, oh, fuck yeah. When Katie Sackhoff tweeted that shit on Wednesday that said, "Is it Friday yet?" I was like, okay, so we're seeing Bo-Katan on Friday. I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. I've never seen Rebels. It's on my list. It's coming up really soon. And I thought this was a Death Watch.
Mando.
Yeah, Mando. And it just wouldn't have worked with the timeline. And it just, it just didn't work. And I was excited. I'm like, more Death Watch. But then Colton very quickly corrected me. And I was like, oh, it's still cool.
It's still cool.
Yeah, I didn't know who it was immediately, but as soon as they flew in, I was like, all right, so this is either Sabine or her, and I am happy either way.
Oh, absolutely. And Bo-Katan is just a kick-ass character. I watched the first part of the last Clone Wars arc last night, and Bo-Katan's a big part of that, because she recruits Ahsoka to take down Maul and reclaim Mandalore. And they just nailed it. Like, they couldn't have reprised this character more perfectly in live action. And I mean, Katie Sackhoff does voice Bo-Katan in the animated series, in Clone Wars and in Rebels, and then she got to play her in live action, which is just all the cooler. And they really brought the character to life. They quickly clear out the Quarrens that are left, and they get Din out of the water. And he says breathlessly, "There's a creature. It has the child." And Cosca Reeves, again, no doubt, no fear, jumps into the water to retrieve the child. And I was like, God, these Mandalorians are really about it. They do not give a fuck, bro.
Yeah, oh my God. No disregard for any common sense. Just fuck it.
Just we ride. Fuck it, we ride.
Whole thing.
And Bo-Katan sits Din down, who's just sounds scared and worried about as can be, and he goes, "The child, help the child!" And to which she responds, "Don't worry, brother. We've got this." And I was like, the use of brother there was just kind of funny and corny, and I liked it. "Don't worry, brother. We've got this.
We wear the same armor, brother. You're my brother now."
But Cosca Reeves emerges from the water with the busted up prim in hand after having engaged in battle with the beast beneath the water, and she hands the baby to Din, who holds him, breathing very heavily, and he looks to them breathlessly and says, "Thank you." And I was like, God, the relief in his voice here is just beautiful. I love that. And I know it's so just like he cares about this kid so much. I love it. And I mean, at this point, how could you not, having protected him for so long? It's like
we're seeing a dad grow up,
There's just no fucking way that he's going to be able to give him off to anyone.
No.
Not even the
No way.
not even the Jedi. Nobody.
It's either
gonna be
he's
around.
dead, he's gonna die for Baby Yoda under any circumstance, whatever situation he's in. Like,
I'm intrigued. I have. We'll talk about the theories more later that I have, but I have some ideas. After he says thank you, he begins to explain that he's been looking for more of his kind, and that he's been quested to deliver this child. And in the middle of him talking, these three take their helmets off, and he's like, "Wait a fucking minute! How dare ye? Where did you get thy armor?"
He's like, every Mandalorian I meet just takes its helmets off, and like, what the heck's going on, man? Why can't I meet a real Mandalorian?
And Bo-Katan explains that the armor has been in her family for 3 generations. And Din is not here for what he thinks is that bullshit. And he says, "You do not cover your face. You are not Mandalorian." And Bo-Katan, Casca, and Axe are all sigh and shrug, and they're like, "Fuck, he's one of these guys."
She goes, "Listen here, bitch.
I
was born on Mandalore."
Yeah, she's like, "Wait a fucking minute, guy. I am Bo-Katan of Clan Kryze. I was born on Mandalore. I fought in the Purge, and I'm the last of my line. You know who you are? You're a child of the Watch. They're a cult of religious zealots that broke away from Mandalorian society with the goal of reestablishing the ancient way." So, yeah. And this line of dialogue answers a lot of questions for the first season. Like, a lot of people's questions. I had thought that all Mandalorians had gotten to this level of not taking off their helmets, and it turns out that's not the case, which makes a lot of sense. I don't know why I thought that, not all fucking people in the world practice the same things. Why would all the Mandalorians practice the same thing? So, I mean, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense.
I have a question, not seen Rebels, and I hope this doesn't spoil anything from it. But is there a lot more, like, with Bo-Katan? Like, are they going to go back to a crap ton of other people like her? Or
no, I mean, there is plenty of Bo-Katan in that series. She's definitely not one of the main characters or anything, but she pops up. I'm going to spoil Rebels a little bit because it helps with this story a little bit. Later on, she says, like, he has something that's mine. I want it back. It's the Darksaber.
I figured that. I know that much about Rebels.
Yeah, at the end of Rebels, Bo-Katan has the Darksaber. So in between Rebels and now, I'm assuming during the Purge, Moff Gideon got the
says mine.
Yes, he says mine. But I think that the children of the Watch are children of the Death Watch. They were raised by Death Watch Mandalorians because in the Clone Wars, the Death Watch Mandalorians were very pissed at Duchess Satine, the Bo-Katan's sister and Obi-Wan's lover, for ushering in an era of pacifism and peace. They were like, no, Mandalorians.
That's not what we're about.
For all of time, since the ancient ways, the way of the Mandalore was being warriors. So that's what they were all about. And I'm assuming the Death Watch Mandalorians were like, fine, we're dipping then. We're establishing the ancient way without you. And they just went up and they rounded up kids who were in trouble, and maybe some that weren't in trouble. I don't know.
So on a scale from the group that we had, season 1, all of those were, the ancient way, to like how many you think are with her crew, would you say the old ways are more people or Sabine or Bo-Katan's
Well, there's no real way to tell at this point in the timeline, but given Clone Wars era, I guess that Bo-Katan's side has a lot more people. Death Watch was not a substantial amount. It was like, it was a good sect of Mandalorians. Like, there were plenty of them, but I think they were a minority compared to your other Mandalorians.
I was going to say, I think right now there's more of the Children of the Watch people solely because of the fact that I think a lot of Bo-Katan's group got killed off in the Purge.
Yeah, I don't
Whereas
know.
not very many of the Children of the Watch would have gotten killed in the Purge because they had already all left Mandalorian.
But there's a quote that says, like, I've heard the stories of a Mandalorian. Do you think they're referring to the old ancient way Mandalorians or the ones that, are?
Well, that's the thing is that, like, even in that era of pacifism with Duchess Satine and stuff, they still had like that military presence. Like it was like, you do not want to fuck with Mandalore. Like it was the Republic went nowhere near Mandalore. It was like, that's you. We don't want to get in a war with y'all. Like the Republic didn't want to get into a war with Mandalore alone. So like they were very much about it, you know. They weren't to be fucked with. So I think it's just like it's commonly known that Mandalorians are just fucking badass. They're kind of like if like Spartans existed today, is kind of the way I rationalize it, is like that's what they lived for. They lived, like the men lived to fight. So I think that's like how I'd equate Death Watch Mandalorians.
Also, Colton, I want to ask you. So if Death Watch was a extremist like offshoot of, you know, normal Mandalore, the Children of the Watch are an extremist offshoot of them. How extreme are these people?
I judging by the fact that I've watched Rebels and Clone Wars, and the rules the Children of the Watch have literally never shown up anywhere else, I'd say they're pretty fucking extreme.
Yeah.
they never take off their helmet. You are forfeiting all sense of identity at that point.
I feel like what
that's that for you, you know?
Yeah. What hidden like super extreme rules have they just like been hiding from us? At one point they're gonna be like, oh yeah, actually we also you know, can't do this one super important thing just because, you know, why not?
I think they shower in the suit, or they take the helmet off.
No, they take it off, no doubt. I mean, like
they're also not allowed to shower.
Else their face, you know. They can.
No, they're not allowed to shower. It says that in their rules.
I don't know. Someone could bust in that door and be like, "I know who you are now."
I know.
It's potentially. But yeah, this part answered a lot of questions about Mandalorians, and we'll get some more into like the actual planet of Mandalore later. But Din gets up in her face after she explains all this, and he says, "There is only one way, the way of the Mandalore," and he just flies off on his jetpack, and they watch him go. And we next get a beautiful shot of Din and Baby watching from the shore as the three Mandalorians launch from the ship they've just blown up at sunset. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Very, very pretty shot. And as he's making his way through these mean streets of Trask, he's stopped by another Quarren, and he's like, "Yo, you killed my brother. You shall not pass." And Din's like, "Yo, let me pass." That's all he says. He says, "Let me pass." And the Quarren moves towards him. He says, Nah. You don't understand. You killed my brother. Now I kill your pet." I was like, nah, you don't do that. And right on cue, again, to somewhat save the day, or what is more likely just making things easier for Din, because Din would have handled this, no doubt, is Bo-Katan, Casca, and Axe. They pull up, and Bo-Katan's like, "He didn't kill your brother. I did." And I was like, fuck yeah. Bo-Katan's such a badass. And they quickly take everyone in sight out. Like, it's like one shot for all of them. That's game. And that.
I mean, it's just it's a super team. Like, no doubt. Like, you can't stop that. Like, what do you have? What's your plan of attack?
This is KD, Harden, Kyrie. Okay, this is what we're talking about right now. Cue the noise. But she again invites Din. She's like, "Come on, let's grab a drink. At least let me talk to you." And we cut back to the inn where Bo-Katan is explaining to Din that Trask is a black market port staging weapons that have been bought and sold in the plunders of Mandalore. They intend on taking those weapons and retaking the planet. And Din's like, "Yo, that planet is cursed. Everyone who goes there dies." And I was like, "Oh, so he's definitely in a cult."
Yeah.
And I mean, like, that's what's funny though, is that he was raised in the cult, so it's like it's just the way of it's the way, you know.
It is the way.
And he said once the Empire knew they couldn't control it, they made sure no one else could either. So I think he thinks there's some sort, like, not an actual curse, but like some sort of thing the Empire did to the environment to make it non-viable, you know. At least that's the story they've been told. And Bo-Katan's like, "Yo, don't believe everything you hear." So do you think like the Children of the Death Watch and the Children of the Watch just told their recruits this so that they didn't go back to Mandalore?
Yes.
Yeah, I definitely.
Probably.
That's
I don't know.
I mean, like, that's just shitty though. Like, and I mean, like, I expect nothing less from a cult. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I mean,
don't know.
I
This is
thought
a pretty
they were a
badass
nice cult, not a mean cult.
Oh, this is a cool cult, but yeah, maybe not telling them like, hey, this is not normally how things are done. We're pretty radical. If you ever take your helmet off, we'll just kill you.
Din's gonna have a Rumspringa. I'm telling you. He's gonna get out and he's gonna party without that mask on for a little.
Is that like the Amish thing?
Yeah,
Is that
or
what
the
you just
Amish-
referenced?
the
Okay,
Amish
I was
go out into the
making sure I
world.
was like semi-culturally aware, but
I don't know. I think the helmet makes him more badass, and
Well,
I
think
hope
he's
we
gonna-
get.
I think he's gonna take it off for a time and
Yeah.
like resettle his ways like a little bit more. Like he'll wear the helmet because it has combat advantages. Like he'll need to wear the helmet, but I think just more often in casual areas.
like maybe when he's meeting, do you think like what would he do? You think if he was like walking into the bar, like a bar and Tatooine,
Helmet.
or
No,
like
he'd
you
keep it
know
on.
into the bounty
Helmet.
guild?
That
Yeah, I
situation
think
he
he's
keeps
got
it
it.
on. But I think if he's like one-on-one with like maybe like Cara Dune.
Oh no, I was gonna say whenever he goes back to that one planet and meets back up with that one
You know what?
woman, and he might actually sit
in
down in front of her and take his
prison.
helmet off and
That'd be pretty cool. But first and foremost, the first living thing he takes his helmet off in front of is Baby Yoda. I mean, no doubt that's going to be the first person he shows his face to.
I don't know. I was kind of envisioning like dude, just take your helmet. Like all like those three, main three, just like in a tent. Or just be like, dude, like
Just keep
take it
pestering
off,
him about
man.
it.
Peer pressure?
Like,
You
come on,
think
just
he's
take it
getting
off.
peer
Like,
pressured into
I don't know, I think
doing
I-
it?
gotta do it. All the Mandalorians are doing it.
everyone's doing it, man.
Everyone
but-
who's not a child of the Watch is taking off their helmet, man. You got to do it. You got to try it.
Honestly, now that you said the Baby Yoda thing, it'll probably be like he'll think about it, but not do it in front of them. Like they'll tell you about it, like, "Oh, man, you should do it," and he's like, "No, I will never do it." And then like him and Baby Yoda are just in like the cockpit of their ship, and he just looks at them. They look at each other. It's all cute, and then you just hear like a and
the
then
click. What if next episode or the episode after, when he's handing him off to Ahsoka, or trying to hand him off to Ahsoka, the last time he's at that moment thinking he's going to see Baby, do you think then he shows him his face?
and Ahsoka.
Like, maybe not Ahsoka, but maybe it's like a one-on-one, like final private moment,
I want to see Baby wear the helmet.
Yeah. And
Let me
then
get one
Baby's-
last
all in
moment
the
with
helmet,
the kid.
man. Oh,
Baby's gonna
No, like I think we get a one last moment with the kid,
Oh.
and we'll
I
get
don't
more
think
to that later.
Baby's gonna freak out and be okay with the fact that he's not there.
Tear trees out of the ground and shit.
Oh, it's so gonna happen. Oh,
But Bo-Katan tells him that the planet of Mandalore. Wow, that was a really deep tangent. I don't know how we got there from the planet of Mandalore.
I feel like the show should be called like Tangent, like the mathematical thing, and then parentheses the Mandalorian.
Dude,
Just
don't
a
steal
new-
my thunder.
I know.
all
We
right?
gotta wait for a while to change it,
But
just an idea.
after Bo-Katan tells him not to believe everything he hears, she says that their enemies, they want to separate them, but Mandalorians are stronger together. And this is something that is repeatedly said in Rebels and in Clone Wars, is that Mandalorians are stronger together. And I like that they brought that into the show too. But Din tells her that this is not part of his plan. He's like, I've been quested with turning this child to the Jedi. And I watched that Clone Wars episode last night in which Bo-Katan comes face to face with Anakin and Obi-Wan, just like chilling there talking to them. And I'm thinking like, wow, in fucking 15 to 20 years, she's going to be standing face to face with Din Djarin talking about this baby and returning him to Ahsoka. And like, it's just, I love it. I love the cohesiveness there. Just the
universe building in Star Wars is just, in the TV shows, they do so well with it. They really do expand it so much, and it never feels forced. Like, it seems like it's always perfectly organic, and they do it so good.
Yeah, she's like, what do you know of the Jedi? And he's like, yo, zero, zilch, nada. I was just hoping y'all would help me buy Creed. And
what a thing to say. I don't know. He knows, like may the Force be with you and with you. Like, he knows that much.
But like that's the thing is that like I think the Empire has convoluted the idea of the Jedi so much that it's like they never even like they're a myth. But like the Force is still like it's actually something that's like worshipped and stuff. People are aware of the Force. It's not like, but they don't exactly, I guess, have the awareness of what that's like the basis of the Jedi's ability, I guess. I don't know. It's it's interesting the way that Palpatine really just wiped out all traces of the Jedi, like at all.
But like, does the Jedi name really go that extinct that quickly?
I mean, I listened to a Star Wars podcast and what was that?
That would be my roommate screaming about something, and I do not know why.
Oh no, it's cool. It's cool. We'll talk over it. But
on a fucking Tuesday night, what they're screaming about.
But what was I saying? Shit, I lost my train of thought. It was it's not important. We'll move on. Shall we?
No, wait. Let me think.
Okay, you were talking about
Zero's
something about Obi-Wan.
I was hoping you would.
Palpatine wiping out the Jedi name.
Jedi name.
Okay, yeah. I listened to this podcast and the explanation this guy gave for like his own headcanon for what like the reason the Jedi are so not even relatively in the knowledge of the public is that like any mention of the Jedi, like the Empire was so deeply after anything Jedi that anytime it was mentioned, they killed that guy. They were like, you don't speak of the Jedi. So eventually it got to a point where it's like, fuck it. We don't need to talk about the Jedi.
Yeah.
That's interesting, man. That's
like,
really interesting.
That's like the only thing that like makes sense. Cause at this point it's like 25 to 30 years removed from the Jedi Council. Like, but how does that happen that quickly?
I know.
Like, it has to be something extreme like that. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense.
I mean, there's a lot of cool things in the Star Wars universe. But I think the coolest thing, I mean, maybe not the most practical, but is a laser sword. And the coolest thing about them is they can fucking move shit with their minds. That's fucking cool. Like, how does that die?
Of course I'm going to talk about this.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
guess
I don't know, man.
Geek.
I don't know, man. I get it. But, baby, while they're talking about, she asked him about the Jedi, and he's like, I thought y'all would help me by Creed. Baby looks over at Casca, who's just slurping in this last little bit of the tentacle, and Baby's like, oh my God, I think I'm in love.
I mean, fair enough. My reaction
like,
as well.
His mouth was shut, and then she like slurped in the last bit of that tentacle, and his jaw dropped. He went... His eyes lit up, his jaw dropped. He was like, oh my God, this is the woman.
Man, he's 50 though, you know, like.
I'm not saying he has a chance, but he's like a little kid who has a crush on somebody that's older.
I mean, we've seen it happen before. You've got, young Annie and Padme. I mean, Star Wars has shown they're about it. Like,
they're about it.
Man, I'm gonna move on. But Bo-Katan tells Din that she can lead him to one of their kind. But first, we need help on a mission. And he's like, mission? And then we're back to the port, where Bo-Katan is showing Din an Imperial Gazanti freighter. Super dope name for a ship. An Imperial Gazanti freighter. And she tells him that it's being loaded with weapons. And she breaks down the plan for him. They intend on boarding after it is taken off with their jetpacks, and they know they can't ascend until they're out of the harbor's airspace. So they're like, we should be cool. We'll get on. And then she's very unclear about what the end of the plan is. That's as far as she got, was how they get on. So, and we learned why she was a bit sketchy about that right here.
Like, oh, we're going to take the ship.
And
oh, okay.
What's funny is like, she's really smooth about it too. She never even tries to explain the end of the plan. She's just like, so yeah, we get on. We know they can't take off after they exit the harbor's airspace, and that'll be that. And Mando was like, cool. And
yeah. She just does the like, we get on and we take what we need. She doesn't tell them that what we need is, the entire ship.
And Din asks if there's any troopers on there. They say like a squad at most. And Axa says, and they couldn't hit the side of a bantha. And I was like, God, they just shit all over stormtroopers. I love it every time.
The coolest phrase of "can't hit the side of a barn," like that's the cooler phrase.
Couldn't hit the side of a bantha. I'm gonna start using that. Din's then at the Frog's residence after this, and he greets them by telling them that that something's come up and he needs them to look after Baby for a while. So he asks if that's cool, and they say yes. And he looks to Baby and he says, "You're gonna stay here, so I want you to be respectful and mind your manners."
That's so cute, man. It's a dad thing to do. Oh,
such
man,
a dad
so
thing.
awesome.
And Baby looks at the canister of eggs, and Din says, "You know what I'm talking about."
I feel like immediately, like Din just immediately had a pair of Nike Air Monarchs on. Like right in that moment, the switch was made, and like
dad, just
pretty soon,
dad.
like you know what's gonna happen when he takes off his helmet? He's gonna replace it with just a nice little dad hat.
A dad hat. He's gonna have a beer gut when he takes off his.
Armor.
His armor's not gonna fit him anymore. It's too tight.
But Din exits as Frog Lady holds Baby in her lap, and it's really cute. And he again puts his face up to the egg canister, and we get that same shot that we got last week of him looking through it. And I thought it was really
him looking through it, just saying, "You're all mine."
And then a little tadpole hatches, and it crawls out, and he was very excited. He was like, "Oh, that's awesome! It's another thing for me to eat."
Yeah, I felt like he was just really excited about the idea of having another, receptacle to eat it out of, or a different. That might not be the right word.
Now,
instead of an egg, now he gets to.
I think he was like the victim of his own. He was hoisted by his own petard.
I don't know what the word.
He's a cute little
receptacle
motherfucker.
is, but...
He's a cute little motherfucker, and he got encapsulated by the cuteness of this little motherfucker. He was like, "Oh,
you're adorable. I must eat you.
You're so cute." But yeah, he was super excited about seeing this little tadpole hatch. And next, we're seeing the Gazanti freighter fly off, and it's really fucking cool when we get that back view of it, and then the 4 Mandalorians flying in, and they take out the troopers outside, all stealth-like, very James Bondy, and they manage to get an alarm off. The Imperials do, and it alerts them to the fact that there are, quote, pirates present. And they very quickly break into the ship and take out like troopers by the dozen, bro. Bo-Katan takes out the first 3 on her own, and in the last one with a throat jab with a knife. And then she does that badass turnaround thing where you're like, oh yeah, she means fucking business. And I was like, God damn, she's a badass. Just 10 out of 10 character. I love Bo-Katan. And then another group emerged from the elevator where they quickly handle them with ease. And then we cut back to the bridge, where the Imperial officer is asking how many pirates there are, and we hear in response, "At least 10, maybe more." And then over the comms, we hear a panicked voice, "Wait, they're Mandalorian! Wait!" I was like, man, like they were doing damage so badly that they were like, it's got to be a squad of like 15.
Yeah.
Dang, man.
I thought Mandalorians.
Man, I thought they were going to like pay an homage to the prisoner episode, and like how they let him alone so they could see how badass he was, basically.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to do that same thing and be like, let's see how badass this like extremist group of people are. Well,
I mean, he proves himself later, bro. He really does the shit. But
I also
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I really feel for the stormtroopers here, just because like they're getting sent down with the assumption of, oh, it's just a bunch of asshole pirates. Like we'll dispatch them quickly.
Nah.
And they get down there, it's just a bunch of Mandalorians, and they step out of the elevator and they're immediately dead.
No, bro.
Man.
I say fuck it. I
mean, I say fuck it, but I'm like,
we get out of here. No. I'm
like, so they're unlucky.
I'm with them. I'm with the Mandalorians. I turn my gun on my boys.
Yeah. Man, look, our armor's kind of close.
I'm with them.
You're auditioning for a role for Star Wars.
I saw this tweet.
You go, you get the call. You're a freaking stormtrooper. That's the worst call you can get because you're immediately going to die. Like, man, that's the worst call you can get. I didn't even see the tweet. Oh, that's awesome.
There was.
What about
I thought you were heading in a
C-3PO?
different direction. There was a tweet that was
no.
like, it was like, my obvious first choice for a Star Wars cameo would be X-Wing pilot. But if I had to choose a second choice, it would be Imperial officer just trying his best. And that guy shows up here in a little bit, and it's super fucking funny. But the radio goes silent, and the pilot says that they're headed for the cargo bay. And the officer asks how long they've got until they clear the atmosphere so they can jump into hyperspace. And the pilot's like, well, dude, we can't climb till we out of this harbor zone. He's like, fuck it, we ride. Go. We out. Raise this bitch. Raise the roof. And they begin their ascension as the Mandos make their way through the ship, and more troopers come forth. Not going to go well for them. They toss in some smoke bombs using their thermal sight. They just mop these dudes real fucking quick. And then in the cargo bay, troopers and officers are readying up with some heavy weaponry. You know, the officer in the cargo bay asks to the other what is happening. And the officer in the bridge tells them there are intruders headed your way, and we need you to hold them off so we can make the jump to hyperspace. And
Yeah, let them just start a tsunami first, you know.
oh yeah, and also rendezvous with the fleet. How many Imperials are we talking about here? And we're going to see Star Destroyers. We're going to see a few Star Destroyers, given the fact that we're talking about a fleet, I think.
Death Star Part 4.
Please,
It's not going to be a planet, it's going to be a star this time. Or multiple planets. Or a fucking galaxy big.
Nah, bro, it's just going to be those giant heads from Rick and Morty, and they're going to be like,
Show me what you
"Show
got.
me what you've got. I like what you've got."
Cue the noise.
Cue the noise. Cue the noise. But yeah, rendezvous with the fleet. So I'm looking forward to eventually, potentially seeing the fleet. And he relays the order to his troops. He's like, "Yo, we've got to hold them off until we make the jump to hyperspace." And the elevator beeps as they get near and near the cargo bay. The nerves of the officer and troopers are palpable. And finally, the door opens, and the officer is like, "Fuck it, shut the doors." He immediately goes to hide. He goes, "Shut the door, shut the door." And they're like, "Which one?" "All of them, all of them." And it's just perfect. Just the Imperial officer trying his best. He said, "Nope, fuck this. This is not the way."
This dude, he kind of looked to me like he belonged, like you saying the whole James Bond thing, the way that they took out those guards, you know? I feel like this dude looks like he came straight out of a Bond movie. Like
really
a
does.
villain, like a Bond villain. This dude's got the look,
Dude.
those eyes, like they look so evil.
I got the vision after you said fleet of, soldiers on the Imperial side. Like, we're gonna see Ahsoka tear some shit up, I think.
Oh, you think
Like,
so?
I think she's gonna tear some shit up.
I don't know about that. I don't know about this season.
I don't think I think we're gonna see an Ahsoka as kind of hermit-like, kind of Luke,
You think?
Luke Skywalker,
Like kind of old Ben, like
thinking Luke Skywalker-y.
yeah, that too.
And I don't know why. I don't know what the gap is going to be there, but the fact that Bo-Katan was able to point to an exact spot on a map and say, "This is where Ahsoka Tano is," tells me that she's been there and has not moved.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. That's a good point.
So I'm interested to see what might be going on there, though. And but we'll get to that more later. And the final door shuts on Bo-Katan as she's approaching, and the Imperial officer lets out a sigh, and he informs the officer. He's like, "Okay, we've trapped him." He's like, "Where?" He said, "In the cargo control area." And the guys and the officer in the bridge is like, "Whew, cool." And then he hesitates for a second. He goes, "Where?" And then he's like, "In the cargo control." And they all get sucked out of the ship because they opened the cargo bay. Just more idiot Imperials just everywhere, and all of the troopers and the officer go flying out, and the pilot, being another idiot, nervously says, "Come in. Do you copy?" Just really setting Bo-Katan up for some more badass moments here. And she says, "I copy." And she's like, "Thanks for all this nice little packaging you did for this weaponry. Just imagine what a whole division of us could do if we got our hands on it." And they're like, "That's funny. You tried to jettison anything, and guess what? We'll hunt you down and kill you." And she's like, "Oh, we won't be jettisoning anything. We shall take the whole ship." And I was like, yo, they're really about it. And, she says, put some tea on. We'll be up in a minute. And I like the idea that tea exists in the Star Wars universe. It's just like, yo, everywhere there is tea.
Man, Mando was like, what? Like, excuse me?
Yeah,
like, you're joking, right?
Said, wait a fucking minute for like the fourth time in this episode. And he's like, yo, this is way more than I signed up for. She's like, there is something I need to rule Mandalore, something that was once mine. They know where it is, and soon so will I. And I was like, oh, the Darksaber. That's what she's talking about. And, she says that they'll be taking the ship for the battles ahead. She tells him that if he wants her help finding the Jedi, he'll help her right now. He's pissed. He's like, yo, you are changing the terms of the deal. And she's like, this is the way. And I was like, man, that's kind of shitty.
She said, what are you going to do about it?
That's this guy's religion, and you just made a mockery of it.
That was stone cold, man.
She went full Lando Calrissian. Well, not Lando Calrissian, Darth Vader to Lando Calrissian.
Yeah.
He's like, you're changing the deal. And he's like, and you got a problem with that. He's like, no, that's cool, Vader. That's cool, man. You got it. That's cool. But back in the bridge, the officer places a call to Moff Gideon. He informs him that there was another pirate hijacking. They weren't able to eliminate the threat, and they need immediate backup. Moff asks if these are the same pirates, quote, who attacked our other vessels. Do you think it's like literally Bo-Katan, Casca, and Axe? Or are we talking a wider spread Mandalorian existence that keep coming for the Imperials?
Kind of like a bunch of different platoons and stuff, or
yeah, like a little bit like the early days of the rebellion. Like they've got little squadrons all over the place that kind of hit Imperials every now and then.
I don't know. I kind of like to think. Sorry, I kind of like to think that there's this is like a very like last line kind of thing. Like they're the end. Like this is it. Yeah.
So do you think they're taking the weapons to take them away from the Empire? They're obviously doing that. Mm-hmm. But do you think they need all of them for how many troops they had? Because that was a lot of weapons. It is a lot
of weapons. And what's interesting is that, like, she says they need them to retake Mandalore. Mm-hmm. Who's Mandalore being occupied by?
The Empire.
Like, if she needs all so
maybe that's the hub.
So the Empire is
probably some Empire like holdouts.
Yeah, that's a really fun idea, Joseph. That like the remains of the Empire are operating from Mandalore. That'd be kind of kick-ass, and
it's the Death Star.
It would be a really kick-ass way to tie together the story.
It's the Death Star, man.
I kind of think
crystal clear.
I kind of think it's kind of like the Rebels like TV show where there are a couple other like groups,
mm-hmm.
but there's like the one main group of like Bo-Katan and the other two that he's like, is it like other groups or is it these assholes that keep coming after me?
All right, so I'm thinking it's Bo-Katan just continuously coming at Moff Gideon's crew, and I think that her, Casca Reeves, and Axe Woves are probably like the main three of like maybe a little bit bigger of a group, not much bigger, but I've heard that they are probably going to be called like the Night Owls because of the way they're. Cool. I'd like that.
Oh yeah,
Night Owl Mandalorian.
So how long do you think that they've been doing this, like raiding Imperial stuff? Because it can't be long. Because I feel like if it had been a little bit, Moff Gideon would have sent like a whole bunch of fucking people to get him and just cap him. You know what I mean? So I feel like this has been pretty recent. Like they've probably just started getting active. So maybe they just got to Trask, or maybe like recently, kind of. Like there's only been a handful of attacks.
Yeah, it's probably got to be relatively recently. And Kyler, I think I can hear you moving. All right, there we're cool. Oh wait.
This is whenever your mic moves, it goes.
Yeah. While you were talking, there was a little bit of a thing happening in the background, but I mean, it'll be clearly like I could clearly understand you. It wasn't getting in the way. It was just that like it was probably something we wanted to be made aware of pretty quickly. But yeah, I'd imagine that it's they're probably relatively new to Trask, probably not been there long, but long enough to have been seen. And to,
I mean, yeah, the quote saying like, "Are these the same pirates that
have been hitting us?" Yeah,
it's definitely happened more than once. That's for sure.
Certainly.
Yeah, they probably just got to Trask, but they've probably been doing it on other planets for a bit.
Oh, definitely.
And even if he did want to send someone after them, because there's only like the three of them together, like at this point, it'd be kind of hard to send people after them just because they can dip and go to different planets on command. Yeah,
no doubt. But after this, Moff asks how far they've gotten, and the officer tells him that they've taken everything but the bridge. They require immediate backup. Moff's like, we get to see how fucking cold Moff Gideon is here. He goes, Moff says, if they've taken that much of the ship, I'm afraid that's no longer an option. The officer looks down, like kind of in realization, and Moff says, you know what to do. And the pilots look at each other just like in dismay, like, no fucking way, right? No, he won't do. And then Moff says, long live the Empire. And the officer responds in kind and shoots both the pilots in the back, takes control of the ship, and aims her for the ground. It's going down. And the Mandos are knocked off balance, and they recognize the situation at hand. We're dipping. We're going down. This is going to be a problem. We got to get to the bridge, all right? And they encounter some more troopers with a couple heavy repeating blasters, and they're like, yo, this is it. We will not make it in time. And Tim's like, cover me. So this man is just going full prime Adrian Peterson, bouncing off defenders and shit, just eating these blaster balls. He's just being the fucking badass that he is. And he's just getting close enough so we can throw these thermal detonators in there, and he succeeds. They blow up all the stormtroopers, and they advance to the bridge. And when they get there, Din removes the officer from the, pilot seat, and he takes control of the ship. They're trying to pull the shit up, and Bo-Katan holds the officer at knife point. She says, the Darksaber, does he have it? To which the officer responds, if you're asking, you already know. And I was like, man, this guy's a dick. And
yeah, I fucking, gets on my goddamn
an Imperial
nerves.
officer with a tan either.
I also feel like, no, I was going to say, I also feel like Din could have easily answered this question for her.
Yeah, well,
that's true.
I don't think he saw her. I don't think he saw Moff Gideon with.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I guess he never did.
The viewer was the only one.
The only person that I could really understand, I think, could really see it maybe would be Grief Karga if he stayed there.
Yeah,
if Moff was kind of roaming around.
I was thinking that Moff had pulled it out in front of him, and that's, So you're right. He couldn't have answered it.
No, he doesn't know what that thing is yet. And I'm assuming Bo-Katan will teach him that too, that like whoever has the Darksaber rules Mandalore.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this is just, this dude's about to go out. He knows he's dead. He might as well go out, guys, a dick,
Bro, hold up. Duh, where they're operating out of is Mandalore. Whoever has the Darksaber is the ruler of Mandalore.
I'm a genius. I'm a genius.
The Darksaber.
I'm a genius. I don't know what I can say.
But it could also be just Moff Gideon just wanting a cool lightsaber.
Yeah, that too. It certainly could. But, like, I think it'd be an even bigger fuck you, considering Moff Gideon personally oversaw, like, the Purge and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, he'd be on Mandalorian. He'd have it. He said, it turns out I have it, so you can do whatever I say now, and you can't do anything about it, or else I'll kill you.
That guy's on some fuck shit. But Din and Casca save the ship. Din and Casca save the ship from crashing and get her all balanced out. And Bo-Katan says that she'll let this officer live if he takes her to Moff Gideon. And he says, you may let me live, but he won't. And then he takes the Star Wars equivalent of a cyanide capsule and zaps his brain into jelly. And I was just like, man, of course they've got a badass version of that in this too. Like, because we've seen the cyanide capsule tue, where they start like foaming at the mouth and shit. But
it's all Avengers, like in the Marvel universe, yeah.
Exactly, and cue the noise. Casca says that they have to go. That he managed to get off a distress signal, so Imperials will be pulling up pretty soon. And Din gets up to leave, and Bo-Katan asks once more if he'll join them, and he says that there's something else he needs to do. And she tells him the offer always stands if he changes his mind. He's going to take her up on that offer later this season. That's the prediction I have. I mean, just generally. And he asks, where can I find the Jedi? And she directs him directly to the city of Caladan on the forest planet of Corvus. There you will find Ahsoka Tano.
Baba!
And bro, it's hilarious because every other time he's been sent somewhere, it's been like, you'll find a person there. I know someone who wears Mandalorian armor and not on that planet in this city. No, here, go to this city, this planet, find this person and tell her Bo-Katan sent you. You'll be cool. Like, just send him right there. He's not going to have issues.
I mean, I understand why they did it though, because you gotta, understand Bo-Katan. Everybody's gonna know seeing her that we're probably a stone's throw away from Ahsoka, So I feel like it made sense to just say the name. There's no reason to tease it,
Well, also, the thing is that not everyone watching The Mandalorian watched Clone Wars and Rebels. So, to some people, watching this and hearing, there you will find Ahsoka Tano, they were just sitting there, being like, cool,
who the fuck is that?
We're going to go find someone named Ahsoka Tano. But, like, to us, we're like, fuck yeah, we're going to go see Ahsoka Tano! Like,
yeah, but I feel like they're going to cater to us more than, I like to believe they cater to us more. They give us the little...
Yeah, that too. But like, imagine if like you're a person who's never seen any other Star Wars besides The Mandalorian, which is, there are people like that out there, and they have like this big moment of music swelling. They'd never mentioned her before, and then Ahsoka Tano pops up on screen. They're like, who the fuck is that? And why did that moment just happen? Like, I've never seen this person in my life. It's just like, I get why they have to introduce the character and stuff. And Bo-Katan thanks Din one last time, and they part ways with a "This is the way." And I was like, yeah, it is the way. And he jumps off the ship and jetpacks on back to the frog residence. And Baby is playing with the newborn baby frog person. And when Din arrives back and he enters and thanks the frogs for watching him, and he picks up Baby and has another real dad moment. He goes, all right, come on, let go. It's time to go. And Baby lets out a whine. He says,
"He's just trying to eat, man."
He goes, let's go. Come on, kid. Din congratulates them on the birth, and on the way out, Baby lets out a few more coos, and Din's like, no, I have enough pets. And I was like, it's comments like this that make me hesitant to think that Din's like really, really handling this properly. You just told this kid he's a pet.
Damn.
But they make their way back to a brutally beaten crest, and Din is disappointed upon sight, obviously, and he says, I gave you 1,000 credits. That's the best you could do? And he's like, here you go, sign off on the payment. He's like, fuck it, fine. And they board the ship, and the interior looks like that of a 90s seafood restaurant. And he sets Baby down and heads to the pilot's seat, and he grunts. He's like, fucking Mon Calamari, unbelievable. And he preps the ship for takeoff, and another weird squid thing, like the third weird squid thing in this episode. And I have to think they're all the same species. Like, is that like different stages of mama core? It slowly makes its way to eat Baby's face. And the whole time I was just going, turn around, Din, turn around. Fucking, okay, all right, that's close enough. Come on. I know you're going to get this fucking thing. Go ahead and turn around. And it just kept getting closer and closer to this fucking guy's face. And then Mando grabs that thing without looking, and I was like, there you go. Fuck yeah. And Baby gives him a good old chuckle here, which was just adorable. And he tells him, I finally know where I'm taking you, but it's going to be a bumpy ride. And he looks back to Baby, who is slurping down the squid thing. And then we watch the crest launch into hyperdrive, leaving behind just a little bit of the ship.
Yeah. Not gonna lie, I was kind of hoping that Din wouldn't stop the squid, and that Baby Yoda would just it would fall, and Baby Yoda would just open his mouth and just catch it in his mouth and just.
I don't know. This is some weird tentacle fetish. I think they spend too much time on a little. I don't know. I didn't like that, man.
It's a little uncomfortable, I'll tell you. But my prediction here, he says, I finally know where I'm taking you, right? And obviously, we're all of the thought that he's not going to be able to leave this child with Ahsoka, right?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I don't see him
Not a
leaving.
chance.
And do you think that's because? I mean, like, obviously it's going to be like a personal thing. He doesn't want to do it. But do you think there's any chance that Ahsoka's like, how dare you come here and try to put a baby on me? like I was just living here, bro, and now you're showing up like, here's a child, raise it.
Deuces.
I think it'd be really cool if, like, them two were a love thing, Mando and Ahsoka. They got together,
would be
they raised
cool,
the
but,
kid.
I
think
definitely
he'd
don't
be a
think they do
Jedi.
it. I don't think
Mando has the dark
Filoni and
saber, Ahsoka
Favreau
has
would
her
do that.
too. Oh!
They're not
Ahsoka
doing
gives
that.
her little lightsaber to Baby Yoda. Oh my god, it works so
Joseph, you
good!
have to slow down. That's
Wait. Did she give up her lightsabers at the end? Like, she didn't take them.
She dropped those things at the graveside of the Ahsoka.
Damn, it would have been a perfect opportunity.
But
Wait, but doesn't she still have? She still has the white ones, doesn't she?
She has white ones now, yeah, but she doesn't have like a little one anymore, like the way she did with
Oh yeah, you're right. You're
in
right.
the
They are
Clone
both
Wars.
normal sized.
Yeah,
Damn
but I think that he will leave her with will leave the baby with Ahsoka temporarily. I think he goes, drops the baby off with Ahsoka for a little bit, gets things a little more straightened out maybe, and then he goes and he takes Bo-Katan up on her offer. And while the baby's with Ahsoka, he goes, takes out Moff Gideon. Maybe he learns something crucial regarding the baby, and that's what sends him back. But I do think we get the child and Din separated for a little bit, and I think we get Ahsoka for a couple episodes.
Man, there is going to be a separation because I can already see the shot of him opening up his bed and then seeing Baby Yoda's bed and him just being like,
nah.
Yeah. See, I think it's gonna go. He tries to he leaves and immediately is gone for 10 minutes of an episode and then immediately just regrets it, goes back and then has to convinces Ahsoka to go with him with the child and go help out Bo-Katan, and so that she can keep watch over the child while he's still with the child and protecting it and also helping Bo-Katan.
That would also activate Ahsoka into action, which I'm not anticipating seeing in live action. I don't anticipate seeing her spring to action, but I really, really like your idea here.
Yes, but I want to see it come.
Oh, no doubt I want to see it. I just don't think it's going to happen.
No, I would agree. I don't think it will, but I want to see Ahsoka spinning around and killing a bunch of clones.
I think we're going to get a really sad montage of Mando remembering little things about Baby and then just being like, no, I have to go back, or something like that, like a breakup scene, I guess, and then
I hope during that montage there's just a tiny clip of Baby Yoda slurping up one of the eggs.
Do you think we get a paralleled scene to what happened in Chapter 3, where he gave the baby up and then
immediately regrets it?
Fuck it. Yeah. Powered up the ship and then powered it back down. Something like that. Or I don't know. I'm interested in what they do because no matter what, it doesn't end with Din and Baby separated.
Oh yeah, no.
There's no way that's how this goes. It's just they've been two big parts of the story and they've been together. That's how it's gonna go. And that's why I think if they do get separated, it's for a little bit. Yeah. And then they'll be right back.
Because if they long term get separated, what's season 3? Just Din just going around on his own? No one wants to watch that.
So I'm really just kind of worried about Ahsoka only being very temporarily and minorly involved in the story, or even in the show in the future. I guess I'm just really I want so much of her in the show so bad.
I would love it, but I think what we're doing here is setting up an Ahsoka series.
Oh yeah. Ooh,
okay, well
I don't
then
know. I don't think so.
Okay with it. But
I think it's going to be like a Flash and Arrow sort of situation.
Do you think they'll do that after doing Kenobi?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Do you think they'll do another one?
Oh wait, no, that's not what I meant. I'm kind of, I don't know. I think Ahsoka will be a major part of the story and will be in a lot of the episodes.
Oh, okay.
If I had to guess, I think she's going to be a very big role coming from the person who worked on, or one of the producers that worked on, her her character and fucking perfected her and had every fan love her.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he just couldn't let her go and just only be in like a one episode sort of thing. I think there's a way higher chance that she stays a long time.
Okay. I dig that. I highly invite that. Don't get me wrong. I would love if Ahsoka was highly involved in this series.
So
I don't foresee a situation where she's involved for more than 2 episodes.
you think that they're going to make a spin-off series for her?
Yeah.
Didn't they already announce it?
Not formally, but there is a idea for a Rebels sequel, and at the end of Rebels, Ahsoka and Sabine Wren take off together. So there is also the distinct possibility that on Caladan, in the city of Corvus, we come across Sabine Wren as well. But I'm guessing that since Bo-Katan had the ability to pin down Ahsoka, that she's probably sent Sabine Wren off on her own for a little bit. It's just my guess.
Maybe we could get like a dual training montage with Ahsoka training Baby Yoda and Sabine getting the extremism out of Den.
I don't know. Do you think the timeline matches up? Like, that episode is coming out probably, this Friday. Like, when we see Ahsoka, we're probably going to see her next episode.
Potentially. My guess was that, because I know that Carl Weathers is directing this next episode. So my guess was that we get a one-off.
And he has to die.
He has to die. He's going to die. But, like, what I'm saying is, do you think they announce a Ahsoka or the Rebels 2 like soon? Because that would be the perfect time to do it. Now, I don't think they would announce it right now. I don't know. I just don't think. I think their focus is largely on this, and maybe George Lucas wanted to recreate the sequels. I don't know if that's just a rumor, if he's actually doing that.
That's a rumor. There's no way George Lucas actually.
Damn it!
Just because George Lucas is out, like that man's. He had ideas for the sequel trilogy that were published and released, but it wasn't like it was just that was the deal before Disney barged in.
Yeah, I don't know. I really think that they wouldn't announce an Ahsoka, spinoff or the Rebels 2 right now. I just don't think it's right. I don't know. I don't know why. That's just what my gut feeling is.
I'm guessing that I've heard that the Boba Fett spinoff is definitely happening.
Okay.
Like zero doubt Boba Fett will have a series on Disney Plus.
Well, didn't they show like the timeline sort of thing? Like, this is when you'll get this series, blah, blah, blah. But then they kind of put question marks somewhere.
They had that idea for movies, and they involved Kenobi, the series, in that, and a couple seasons of The Mandalorian. But the thing is that they're getting away from the movie side of things because of the way movies are going right now. So they're focusing on the series. So it wouldn't surprise me if originally their plan was to only roll out Kenobi after The Mandalorian and then develop another Star Wars show. But my guess is that they're gonna take advantage of the streaming craze for Star Wars fans, and that
makes sense. Yeah.
So my guess is that they probably will announce an Ahsoka series pretty quick. Just because, like, I even remember with the Bad Batch, there was a relatively quick announcement after they made their premiere earlier this year.
Yeah, that is interesting. I guess they can definitely handle more than one series at a time. Disney has so many people at their disposal.
See, and that's the thing, though, that I'm worried about a little bit, is that, like, if we do get a Rebels sequel or a Ahsoka focus series, I think there's zero chance Dave Filoni doesn't follow that project.
Oh yeah, I don't think he could do both at the same time. I think that would be he'd be in two different mindsets, and I don't know. I think he would split his how good he is.
I
don't think he's trusting anyone else to. I don't think he's trusting anyone else to mess with his characters. Like, I just think those are his.
Jon Favreau has written most of The Mandalorian.
Yeah, they have a kick-ass producer team. He could definitely leave and them still do perfectly fine.
Yeah, Dave Filoni is more effective with the maintaining of the mythology and making sure everything makes sense to Star Wars when it comes to Jon Favreau's writing and stuff. But I think if there was an Ahsoka series or a Rebels sequel, Dave Filoni would go to that, and he would write that.
Oh yeah.
And direct and produce and stuff like that. Just because of the connection to Ahsoka. Like, it's just, that's his character, man. He's going to follow that character. But yeah, I can't wait for next week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
Man.
Greef Karga, R.I.P. Just in advance.
I don't know where you're getting it, but it's okay.
Greef Karga's gonna die, and we're gonna see Ahsoka. That's it.
I don't think we get both. I think you get neither. I think you get him dying, and that's it. I don't think.
What if Ahsoka kills Greef Karga?
That'll be the baddest episode to direct, man.
I'm about it.
You got a lot of possibilities to go off if you're the director.
Yeah. We're actually going to get neither in the next episode. The next episode is entirely just going to be them traveling to the planet.
Well, here's my thought.
It's just going to be clips of Baby Yoda traveling to the planet. That's it.
My thought is that because the Razor Crest is so beaten to shit, is that they're going to crash land somewhere before they get to Corvus. So I think that...
I don't know. That's kind of like, oh, they already crash landed. Oh, they're just going to do it again. I don't know.
Have you seen that fucking ship? Dude,
I know, but like, I know, but I mean, like on a deserted planet, you think?
No, I think they managed to make it somewhere they can get fixed. But I think they spend the rest of that episode there.
So you don't think they're getting to Ahsoka?
No, I think Ahsoka comes in chapter 13 when Dave Filoni directs. But
God, that's so annoying.
I agree. But I think that maybe somewhere in the middle, somewhere in the middle of Trask and Corvus is going to fall Navarro, and I think that's where he's going to land. That's where he's going to get his ship fixed up, and that's where he's going to run into Greef Karga and Cara Dune again, and reintroducing them into the story.
Damn it, dude, you're so right. Filoni's going to 100% direct that episode, and like this week's episode will definitely end with him coming up on the planet or them leaving for the planet.
Yeah, something like that.
Damn it!
I know, but I mean, maybe I'm wrong.
You're right. I will be way more happy if Ahsoka's in the episode now than if I didn't. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, like not expecting it now.
Thank you. So I won't be disappointed either way.
You won't be disappointed when she doesn't show up, you know. But yeah, I really just don't foresee Ahsoka popping up in this episode, and if she does, I think it's going to be like the Force Awakens ending with Luke Skywalker and Rey coming face to face, Din walking up, seeing Ahsoka, and he's going to hold out Baby Yoda, and she's going to grab Baby Yoda and throw him over her shoulder.
Nope.
Just like Luke Skywalker with the lightsaber.
I don't think she'll throw a baby.
I don't think so either. I think Ahsoka's got more sense than that. But
yeah. I just don't think that'll happen.
I think he's gonna try to hand her the child. And she's gonna like, no, ooh, you want me to hold that thing? No thanks,
dude. She might say like, "Is this a snack? Is this dinner?" That'd be fucking awesome.
But this has been the Penny Bloom podcast, and this is the Mandalorian Rewatch. As always, I was joined by Joseph George. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you for having me.
No problem, man. Thank you, Miles Buttress.
Anytime.
You know what? We might even do this next week, speaking of any time. And Kyler, thank you.
Absolutely.
So next week, we will be back with The Mandalorian Chapter 12, an episode directed by Carl Weathers, which I'm very excited about. And remember, peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves.